Hi teacher, in this video Arnold and I we will socialize and explain the importance of two concepts in learning as a foreign or second language. There are attitude and motivation according to the chapter 7 and 8 of the book Understanding the Second Language Acquisition. So first of all, it's important for us to give you a specific definition of attitude. So language attitude is a psychological formulation behind the intuition that some people have a gift for traditional language learning, while others seems to struggle. So language attitude refers to the potential that a person has for language learning. Uh, in other words, it refers to the specific talents for learning as a foreign or second language. So language learning attitude seems reflecting ability to manage sound, grammatical structure, infer rules, and memory. For example, it's possible that an individual could be an excellent translator or an easy simultaneous interpreter by virtue of a specific skill that don't came into play in the early stage of a second language learning. So attitude, in general sense, means a certain psychological characteristics favoring or acquisition on some mental, physical, artistic ability or skills, like a musical skill, and ability to learn a specific task without previous knowledge. So, on the other hand, according to Garner, motivation in present context refers to the combination of effort plus the desire to achieve the goal of the language and the favorable attitude toward learning the language. So, in other words, motivation is something that can increase the student determination and interest in learning a language or a second language. So, motivation in terms of language as a second language can be perceived in the desire to learn more about a foreign culture. Uh, so if you learn English because you will get a better job if you speak this language, then your motivation is instrumental. So you are motivated to learn vocabulary, morphology, grammar, pronunciation, etc. The literature of learn motivation states that the person who are extremely motivated are more successful in learning the second language or a foreign language. So motivation is central to human behavior. It affects the decision we make, the experience we seek, and consequently what we encode and remember. So the memory capacity and motivation has a close relationship in terms of education. Some researchers have demonstrated that manipulating an individual motivational state during and after learning is a powerful tool to facilitate memory. In this term, teachers have increasingly used the effect of different types of motivational incentive on memory encoding in their learners. For example, the use of motivational incentive include the natural reinforce, for example, a joy, or emotional stimulus like a smile face, take the advantage of the student's curiosity to learn something new at the early learning process. So now, my partner Arnold, let's continue to talk about how attitude or motivation are associated with the affective dimension, and finally, with the conclusion of these two chapters about motivation and attitude. So, thank you so much.
This is me, Arnaldo Tapia, Arnold Tapia. Well, continue with the video that my partner answered some questions before. I'm going to continue. So, how are attitude and motivation associated to affective dimensions such as temperament, emotions, and preferences for how to process new information? Okay, temperament, emotions, and preferences of processing new information are associated to attitude and motivation because individual differences have traditionally made a distinction among three concepts: cognition, that refers to how information is processed and learned by human mind. Connection, that addresses how humans use will and freedom to make choices that result in new behaviors. And affect, that encompasses issues of temperament, emotions, and how humans feel towards information, people, objects, actions, and thoughts. We also must consider cognitive, and affective explanations in a symbiotic fashion in order to fully understand individual differences. Likewise, second language researchers are increasingly more willing to examine attitude and motivations and some other sources of individual differences in second language learning in the context of complex interrelationships among cognition, connection, and affect. So now, the question number six asks us to make some conclusions about the chapter 7 and chapter 8. And we have the language attitude is the psychological formulation behind the institution that some people have a gift for additional language learning while others seems to struggle. At a practical level, it can be measured by some exiting tests that predict how well someone is likely to do when embarking on the formal study of an additional language. At a theoretical level, language attitude as a construct of thought is to be made of various cognitive abilities, some better understood than others, but all related to two broad types: analytical abilities and memory abilities. And talking about motivation is usually understood to refer to the desire to initiate second language learning in the effort employed to sustain it. In particular, positive attitudes towards the learning context as well as the second language community and the current satisfactions with teachers, this is important, and instruction can boost motivation considerably. It follows that motivational changes, including changes for the better that can be planned and orchestrated in the curriculum, are the reach of teachers and educators. Us. So that's all. Thank you.